Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to thank you for tuning in to Up Close and Personal with Angela. I am your host, Angela Thomas Smith. I am the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign, bringing awareness to African American authors and literacy across the world. I am also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, where we're bridging the gap in the literary world. We're showcasing brown authors and we're touching on the latest topics that is affecting our brown community. So if you have not picked up your copy of Aspiring Authors Magazine, get your copy. We are taking pre-orders for the June issue. But that's not why I'm here. I have a special guest that's with me on today. Her name is Shante Reed, and she is one of the 30 ladies that is participating in the Women of Indefinable Worth anthology. I am owning my truth. I tell you, we all have our truth. We all have our own individual stories. But I want Shantae to share just a little bit about who she is and her journey as an author. And then we'll jump back in and talk about the anthology. So Shantae, share with the listeners and the viewers today exactly who is Shantae?
Shante is a person who likes to inspire people. Um, and I think that began from my challenges as a young person. I'm legally blind. I was born legally blind. So I have no vision in my right eye. And ever since I was younger, I've always wanted to encourage people. And overcoming some of the challenges that I've been through in my life has basically kept me humble and allowed me to do that. Uh,
Amen. Amen.
I grew up in rural Georgia, so I'm a Georgia girl, but I'm currently living here in Sacramento, California, where I took a job here. Um, let's see, I began my career. Um, wow, there's just so much. You go through so much sometimes. It's like, wow, how do you just put it all into words? But what inspired me to leave Georgia was just to step out on faith. You know, I didn't tell anybody I was leaving except my mom, and once I got the job. So in 2 weeks, I left Georgia. I came out here with two suitcases, and that was it. And it has been a life changing for me to get out of my comfort zone because being back at home just for me was um, prohibiting me from being able to just go forth and not walking in fear because I knew that I was, around people that I love. So I was, um, you know, in that comfort zone. So getting out of
That's
it
the
pushed
pull.
me. Yeah,
You
push.
yeah, definitely. I understand what you're saying. Okay, for example, I've been through the same thing. I lived in a very, very small place. And I always said that I had a personality that could not stay in a small city. But but anyway, I it seemed like nothing would go right in my hometown. Like nobody supported you, nobody
Yeah.
saw your visions, nobody supported your dreams. It's just like you have to distance yourself in order for
Yes.
people that love you to support you. Because if you're there around them, then they don't think that you need their support when you do need their support. So sometimes it
Exactly.
takes the distance to really let them see that you really you need their support. You need their encouragement. You need their little bit that they're giving. So I applaud you for stepping out on faith and moving across country because you moved all the way across country to
Yes.
the other side of America. So how was that change going from the dirty South, the East Coast, to California? How was that?
It was a culture shock. Everything here is so different. Like back in Georgia, South, you speak to everybody like, "Hey, how you doing?" no matter whether you know them or not. But when I first got here, I would do that and people would look at me like I'm weird. And I'm like, "Okay, it kind of makes you want to tone it down, but then I'm like, no, this is who I am. I can't be anybody but who I am. I'm a person that likes to, I'm shy, but I like to talk to people. And so for me, the first thing I did when I moved out here was I joined a whole bunch of meetup groups. And so I was able to travel all around the state with meetup groups, and I met some incredible people, tried some things that I never do, like zip lining, tried sushi because we always thought sushi was raw fish. And so when I got out here, I'm like, hey, I'm somewhere new, somewhere to try experience different things. And that's what I was able to do when I moved out here.
Amen. Amen. I tell you, it's definitely sometimes it takes change to push you into your purpose as well. And I know that you are an author, and I would like for you to share just a little bit about your journey as an author. Um, when did you start writing? Why did you start writing? And share a little bit about one of your books.
I started writing when I was in high school. I wrote my first poem in my 12th grade year, and it was called What Makes Me Different. And because I was a person that had low self esteem, I dealt with depression a lot. And so, writing and expressing myself with poetry allowed me to get how I felt out on paper. And so I had that first poem published online at a site called poetry.com. And so during this process, after that, I kind of got um, in a state of depression. So I didn't write for a while until I moved back out here. And I found my church home where I am now. And I gained a relationship with God because I've always known God since I was a kid, but I didn't have that relationship. And that's what I learned was the difference. So once I gained that relationship with Him, writing, I just started writing so much. And for me, it was just writing what I'm hearing Him speak. And so my first book that I published was back in 2018, and it's called Christ. It's called Cornerstone Christ, the Rock on Which I Stand, and it's a book of poetry. So a lot of what he gives me is poetry, and it's not always what you would consider the typical poetry. I just write what he gives me, and so I've been doing a lot of writing. There's like actually several books that I have that I haven't even published yet, but
Wow.
he just gives me things. When he gives it to me, I write it.
Well, you better get those books out there because I always tell people if God give us something, He's given it to us so that we can get it out to the people, so the people can be blessed. So I definitely thank you for that. I would like for you to share with the listeners how they can get in contact with you. Are you on social media? Your email address, your website, things of that nature.
I am on social media. I am on Facebook at Shante Reed. I'm on Instagram at Tay81. And those are the places that you could pretty much find me. Um, I have my book listed on Amazon. And I had to double check the link because I was having an issue with it yesterday, but it is still active. So, but the book is listed on my Instagram page,
And what's your Instagram page again?
Tay81.
Say 81. Okay.
TAYE81.
So you guys are tuned in to Up Close and Personal with Angela. I am Angela Thomas Smith, the host, on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. So today we have author Shante Reed, one of the 30 ladies that's participating in the Women of Indefinable Worth anthology. I am owning my truth. We all have a truth. We all have a story. And I thank God for these amazing women that are definitely owning their truth and willing to be transparent and share their truth. So I want you, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, if you're watching, if you have any questions, please post your questions in the comment section for Shante. And if you are on Blog Talk and you want to call in, please call in to 515-602-9667. We will be on for the next 20 minutes. And if you have any questions, you can get up close and personal with author Shante. She has several books out. She's a poet, and she is one of the 30 women that is sharing their truth. A lot of people reached out to me about this project, and they wanted to know, well, what is the project about? So when I tell you truth, your truth is your trial, your test, your tribulation. What has made you who you are today? What helped build your character? That's your truth. That's what we own. That's what made us who we are today. So a lot of us have suffered different things, from domestic violence to abuse, sexual assault, molestation. You name it. A lot of us have been through it, and it has taken our pain to push us into our purpose. And I thank God for our journeys. And our journeys are not all the same. We don't all have the same story, but we have a story. And I felt like people needed to hear our story. Um, we come from different walks of life. We come from different parts of the country. We come from different upbringing, different religious backgrounds. And this is just an opportunity for women to come together, women of faith, because we all don't study the same religion, but women of faith, women that believe in Jesus Christ and believe in the Holy Bible. So I thank God for that, and us being able to come together and share our truth, share our journey on what made us who we are today. Because a lot of people look at us and they don't know our truth. They don't know our story. They don't know how we got where we are today. Um, what has made us into the individuals that we are today. So I want you to share with the listeners and the watch those that are watching via live, um, just a little bit about why you chose to join the anthology, and if you would like to share your truth, um, I would love for you to share.
I chose to join because I wanted to make a difference. As you said, so many of us have different stories. Everybody has a different walk. And, even with all of us women together, somebody's able to find something out of each piece of our story. And as I mentioned, I grew up in a small Georgia town where I was pretty much the only person with a disability in my class. I had teachers that told me that I would never graduate. I had teachers that told me that I would never live on my own. And I actually have my master's degree and I own my own home. And my thing is, I wanted to inspire women to know that no matter what somebody tells you, is what God has in you, and it's about knowing that you're not dependent on what they tell you. It's about who God says you are. And it's believing what he sees in you. And a lot of times we have to go through all of that stuff, all of that hurt, all of that pain. Like sometimes we're like, God, why am I going through all of this? Why are they treating me this way? I've been just even on my jobs that I've had previously. I had a job where I was underpaid. I've had a job where I was fired because of my vision, and all of that stuff led me here. It allowed me to be able to encourage others that no matter what somebody think they're doing to you, God has the final say. And it's about knowing that you can get through it. It hurts. Oh my gosh, it hurts when you're going through it. And even right now, I'm going through a phase where we just found out our job is ending. So doing all of this, even working on my books, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to leap into what he's calling me to do. And so that's the biggest thing, knowing that whatever you're going through, It's preparing you for the next stage in your life. The thing is, are you going to learn from what you're going through, or are you going to continue that cycle?
Because he will send that test back, and you will keep getting tested until you pass the test. And I tell people all the time, I tell people all the time, if you don't put nothing in, you can't get anything out. So if you go to the ATM and thinking you got to withdraw something, if you ain't put nothing in there, you ain't gonna get nothing out. So we got to learn how to um, speak over our life and be positive and surround ourselves around positiveness and separate ourselves from the negative things. Because in actuality, if people want to see you prosper, they're gonna speak positive things into your life. They're gonna encourage you. They're gonna empower you. They're gonna be openly, willingly to help you, and you don't have to ask. People know what you need. God will send people to bless you in the midst of all that you're going through, just to show you that He's God. So
Yes,
I
and
tell
that's
you, I definitely I thank you for coming on here today and sharing, because somebody needed to hear that. And I thank God for this anthology, because people are going to be able to share their journeys. They're going to be able to share their story in hopes that it will inspire somebody, because everybody not going to church, everybody not picking up a Bible, and everybody not even, some people not even practicing religion. They practicing all kind of other stuff right now. But people need to know that this is real, that things are happening in this world, and you got to trust in something. So why not trust in Jesus? I've tried him. I know what he'll do. So I'm telling you, in my devotionals, I'm sharing my testimony. I'm sharing with you what he's done for me. And these other 29 ladies, that's what they're doing too. They're sharing what God has done for them. They're sharing the word of God. They're applying it to their life. They're showing you that this is a part of their everyday life. And just as we've overcame, they can overcome too. So I want you have been dropping some very positive nuggets. You are very inspirational. I tell you, you will encourage a lot of people, because there are people out here that are going through a lot of things, and for you with having your disability, and you been able to overcome obstacles when people said you wouldn't do this and people said you wouldn't do that, but you proved them wrong through the word of God. You proved them wrong by trusting God, because God said he had a plan for you. In Jeremiah 29 and 11, he said it. He said he had a plan for you, to prosper you, for you to be in good health, for you to have hope in the future. And when you trusted him, he gave you hope and he gave you a future. He gave you everything that they said you wouldn't have. So what did he do? He prepared a table in the presence of your enemies, and he allowed them to see you prosper. And he'll do it just as he did it for you. He'll do it for the next person, because he has no respect of the person. So I thank you for coming on here and being transparent and sharing your story. I thank you for being a part of the anthology and sharing your truth in the anthology, because I truly believe that people are going to be set free, delivered from this devotional. Before we leave, again, I want you to share with the listeners how they can get in contact with you. And then I want you to leave something inspirational, something that they will remember Shante Reed by, and they will want to think about picking up that book when our new release hit. They're gonna say, I remember watching her on live, and I remember her story. I remember her testimony. She touched me, and I want to get this book. So I want you to share with the listeners again how they can get in contact with you, and then share something inspirational that they can remember Shante by.
You can find me on Facebook. My name is Shante Reed, and you can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Tay81, TAYE81, and that's where you can find me. And what I would share is don't give up. You know, no matter how hard it gets, we all go through some things, and you can't let what somebody else says deter you, because God says better. God has better for you. He didn't bring you here just to be, belittled, put down, or just be stagnant. We have to realize too that we have to put in the work. You have to want to grow, because it's all a part of the process, and this life is a process. We should always be learning, as God says that you should remain teachable, just like a child. As somebody who's worked in daycare, it's just amazing to me how much those babies soak up. But a lot of times when we become adults, we think we know it all, and you don't know it all. There's always something that you can learn, and that's my thing, to continue learning. Even since I've been here, I have all these degrees and stuff, but what I learned is that once I actually got in the field, that's where I really learned. That's where the learning really occurs. So yeah, you can get all the book knowledge, but also make sure you're learning from your life experiences as well.
Amen. Amen. I want to thank you again for coming on and sharing your journey as an author and sharing why you joined the anthology. I look forward to working with you. But I want you to know, if there's anything that I can do to assist you on your journey as an author, please feel free to reach out to AALAC or Aspiring Authors Magazine. My mission is to educate, empower, and encourage individuals into their purpose. And that's what I do. I like to see individuals walking in their purpose and see individuals that will reach back down and help somebody else up, because we can do this and we can do this together. Um, so I want to thank you for coming on. You have been up close and personal with Angela. My guest today is author Shante Reed. She is one of the 30 women of sharing her truth in the upcoming anthology, I Am Owning My Truth. And I want to thank you for taking your time this morning to be a part of the show and to share. If there's anything else that you would like to say, you can do that now. If not, we will be sounding out.
Well, I just want to wish everybody a wonderful day and pray that you let this inspire you. Let each and every woman that you heard go forth inspire you. And like I said, take a little bit of what each and every one of them has went through to push you forward. Because for me, what I've learned is to be observant. And you can learn a lot of stuff by observing. You don't necessarily have to experience it, but learn through observation. And that's what I would like to leave you guys with.
Amen. And you have been listening to Shante Reed, author Shante Reed. I am Angela Thomas Smith. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you. You have a great evening, sweetie.
You too.
Thank you.